Okay, so this is Earth's landforms, and it starts out by saying land has many shapes. A hill is high, its sides are sloped. A mountain is higher than a hill, its sides are steep. In these pages, I wanted to skip. One talks about a plain, the other one talks about a plateau, and those are things that they don't need to know right now. It's good for them to know them, but I think that I should omit it from this. And it talks about a canyon. But I wanted to point out that I read about the hill because it gives them something to compare the mountain with. And then in the back it says, did you find these words? And then it goes on to talk about a mountain again, and it says a mountain is higher than a hill. And that's something that I wanted to point out. And then the next book that I wanted to use was Earth's Landforms and Bodies of Water. And this has a lot more words than the other one, so I did want to only read bits and pieces of this. And it is for age range 5 through 8. The beginning says, our planet Earth is home to plants, animals, and humans. They live on land and in the water. Earth's surface is not the same everywhere. It has mountains, hills, valleys, plains, and plateaus. These shapes on Earth's surface are called landforms. Earth also has streams, lakes, ponds, and oceans. These are called bodies of water. Raised landforms. There are many different kinds of landforms on Earth. Some landforms are raised. This means they are higher than the area of land around them. Mountains are the highest raised landforms on Earth. They have steep sloping sides. A group of mountains in the same area is called a mountain range. Land near water. A place where land meets water is called the coast or shore. A coast can drop down to the water over a cliff. It can also be flat and sandy with a beach. Coastlines surround islands. An island is an area of land with water all around it. Sometimes a coastline has a long, narrow strip of land that juts into the water. This is a peninsula. Okay, and then on this page it has 4 pictures. The top left says a stream is a small body of moving water. Many streams flow into rivers. The top right says a river is long and narrow. It flows into a lake or an ocean. The bottom left says a lake is a large body of fresh water. A lake is surrounded by lands on all sides. And that's all I wanted to read from that one. These books would just be an introduction to the landforms. So I wanted to ask, after reading those, what did you learn about that you didn't know before about landforms or about rivers or lakes or mountains? And is there any information that you can add that is not in the books? Obviously, there's not a whole lot of information there, so I want to give them the opportunity to show me what they already know about landforms. I wanted them now to turn to each other and talk about those questions. What did they learn? What did they find interesting? And something that they already knew that was retold in the stories. And then I was going to give them a few minutes to talk about that before we moved on to the middle of the lesson. So in the middle of the lesson, I have students doing a group project. And in this project, they are going to be making all 4 landforms. So I want them to make a river, a mountain, a lake, and an ocean. So they're going to have 20 minutes to work with the group of 4 that's at their table. And that I'm going to put cardboard, Play-Doh, markers, pom-poms, and pop cleaners on their tables, just so that they have stuff to work with and that they can mold and shape and do what they want to with it. As the students are working on their group projects, I'm going to be walking around and asking, can you explain why you did the river, ocean, mountain, or lake like this? Can you give me an explanation on that? What could you do differently to make it stand out from the others? What could you do differently to the river, ocean, or lake to make it stand out from the other bodies of water? In what ways are a lake, river, or ocean similar or different than a lake, river, or ocean? Do you think that one landform is more important than the others? Why or why not? How are you able to tell the difference between the lake, river, and the ocean? How does a mountain differ from a hill? So just a few range of questions that I wanted to talk to with students. And obviously when you're walking around and getting more input with them, then you get more. And then after they did that, I didn't want them to present those projects because that's what they did as a group. I just really want them to have a conversation, explain to each other like, hey, we should do the river like this because of what we know about it as a group. So their final project, the end of the lesson, they're going to make mini posters. And how they're going to make their mini posters is they're going to get on Epic Books and they're going to search for some landform books. And on the landform books, they will either be read to them or they can read them themselves by turning the volume off. But what I want them to do on their mini posters, I want to split it into 4s, and I want them to draw a mountain and then draw a river, a lake, an ocean. And then I want them to use all the information that we've learned in class and really put what stuck out to them in there. But I want to watch for those distinguishing features. So I want them to tell me that a mountain's a mountain because it has steep sides. Or any other facts that they have learned from mountains, or about mountains from the books. So they'll have 20 minutes to do their research with their book, and then they will present those to the class when they're done. And as they're presenting, I'm going to observe and obsess them on their ability to distinguish between each landform.